This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the EVERGOODS Transit Packing Cube 8 liter, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. If you find this video helpful, make sure you subscribe so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. Let's dive in. So as far as materials go, this is much more of a durable packing cube than most of the ones I've tested in my time here at Pack Hacker. The main material we're working with is a 210D nylon. So typically you see a lot of packing cubes, are under 100D. So that just normally means they're a lot more lightweight, but also not as durable. This thing feels like it could withstand almost anything inside of your pack. And for certain trips, that might make a lot more sense. And also you're probably gonna get a little bit more water resistance as well. But also with that comes weight, which we'll get into. We've got the EVERGOODS logo here on the front of the pack, which is, a hook and loop fastener. So you can attach a patch to that or something like that. So if you have multiple of these and like you're throwing them inside of a duffel bag or a big travel backpack, you can put different patches on ones that are clean, dirty, whatever, so you can kind of identify them, or just leave it like this. It doesn't snag or anything because it is the side of the hook and loop fastener that doesn't catch. So it is a nice little feature, and you don't typically see things like that on packing cubes, but EVERGOODS wanted to throw it on there, and I kind of dig it, especially it looks neat too, which I like. So we got YKK zippers on this thing, so we do actually have, I believe, 4 zippers here. They work as you'd expect them to. They don't, get in your way, and they're pretty easy to close, which is a good thing for a packing cube. Sometimes you're like really yanking on them, and they're big enough to where you don't feel like they're going to break. So on the bottom here, we have this like little daisy chain with these attachment loops. So you got 2 little loops here and then 2 on the end. I didn't really have a use for that, but if you want to like attach it inside your bag, or if you run out of room in your bag, you can like attach it on the outside, I guess. Not really super useful for me, but they're there and they don't really get in your way, so I can't really complain about them. And then on the top, we actually have some more little loops here. So these are actually, this is probably the handle. This one, like it feels a little tighter, but I think that's probably because I have this side packed a little bit more than I have this side packed, but you can use either of these as a handle, but you also have these little attachment loops here on the sides as well. So again, you could put a carabiner on there or put a strap through there, attach it inside your pack. They don't get in your way if you don't want to use them, and it's pretty easy to hang onto it and carry it if you want to carry it somewhere. So, but talking about weight, as you can see in all of the features we went over, this thing does weigh a good amount. I believe it's 6 ounces for this 1 8-liter packing cube. And for comparison, let me make sure I get this right. The Osprey Ultralight Packing Cube set, which we talk about a lot and have thrown in a lot of packing lists, comes in at 2.2 ounces just by itself. So, and that's a lot more space and 3 packing cubes. So this thing does weigh a lot, but relatively speaking, that amount of ounces isn't a huge deal, but you get this durability, which some people might like. So you typically don't see more than 1 compartment on a packing cube, but this one does have a secondary compartment. You guys might have been wondering what that was when I showed you the zippers. We have this little zipper, YKK zipper here, and there is an external compartment. So the way that I've kind of been using this is the inside was for clothing, and then I was stowing socks and underwear out here. So that's just how I did it. You don't have to do it like that. You could use this maybe as like a dirty section, or an idea that I had, I didn't have any flights while I was testing this thing, but if you're taking like a red eye or something like that and you're going somewhere that's warm or just not really cold, you could stow, like you're gonna wear your comfy clothes to the airport and stow the clothes you're gonna wear when you get there. Like if you wanna change your shirt at least when you get there just to feel a little bit more fresh, you could stow that stuff here, because then you don't have to open the whole main compartment to get inside of there. But I'm gonna pull the socks and underwear out of there real quick just so you guys can get a better look at this compartment. As you can see, there's no organization inside there or anything. I will say I don't have the main compartment completely packed out right now, but when you do, as you can see, there is a little bit of liner material here. It does push into there a little bit, and it's harder to put things in here. So if you really stuff out this main compartment, you're not gonna fit as much stuff inside of here. You guys could probably have guessed that though. So it is a nice feature to have if you wanna use it. And if you don't wanna use it, it doesn't really take up that much space. So no real quarrel with it being there, and it's nice. I mean, typically you don't see that, so if it's something you think you would like, this is a packing cube for you to try. So now it's time to go into the main compartment, and I feel that this packs kind of like a rolling luggage that pops open like this. So a lot of rolling luggage will have these 2 different sides, and they'll have like a divider like this, and you stuff stuff inside there, and then you close it. So before we get in there though, as you can probably see, we have two zippers there, 1 for each. And 1 is orange and 1 is gray. And I really dig that. It seems like a really small thing to like, but it just helps you differentiate the 2. I know obviously we have this logo here as well, which helps too, but it's like, in the written review that I did, I made the joke of like, orange, you glad I made this a color so you know that these are dirty? And it's just to make separate things is really cool, especially when you're trying to grab something quickly. You don't want to grab a dirty pair of socks or underwear or something like that. Just a little things like that is kind of neat, and those are the kind of things that I've come to expect from EVERGOODS. So now we're going to go inside of this compartment first. I believe I got just 3 shirts stowed inside of here. I'm going to pull those out just to show you all something. So this is the pocket on the front here. So as you can see, it's there, but something that bothers me a little bit is that, so I would like to use this kind of as like a divider, put some stuff underneath it, put some stuff on top of it to kind of divide things up. But the logo here is stitched, and it's stitched onto the pocket. So you can kind of like get underneath it like this, but it's stitched there. So you can't really use that as a divider so much. You can kind of like shove stuff up in there, but I just kind of wish that this was not stitched in with the logo. So that way I could kind of like use it as a liner to separate things and just get a little bit more organization. Because it's here, I might as well use it. But I don't know, just that bothers me a little bit. Obviously you can't when you know, have a couple things in here. It's a little bit harder to use it as a divider, but you still could. And I just wish, I don't know, so this is a little thing for me. It probably doesn't affect usage that much, but it bothered me a little bit. So I thought I would let you guys know. I'm curious if it would bother anybody else. On this side over here, we're gonna pop this one open. Some more clothing over here. Grab that out. As you can see, no pocket or anything, no extra liner over here. So this is the one where you're gonna be able to fit the most gear, at least if you're using this secondary compartment. You can kind of shove everything inside of there. And I'm gonna just show you how much we can really get in there and still close this. It's not the best packing method I've ever used. And on one weekend trip I took recently, I actually I needed to fit some extra clothing in there. So what I did is I just kind of zipped it like that, and then was kind of, that might be a little bit too big, was just kind of like shoving stuff in the top here, and then closed it up like this. So there are some, I think, benefits to having this system that's, as I said, kind of more like what you'd see in rolling luggage, because you can kind of shove that extra stuff inside, and then when you go to close it, it is going to be kind of hard. So like I don't have this side packed out, but it can be kind of hard to close this. But once you have those 2 sides packed out, the hard work is pretty much done, and then you're just closing this and you're on your way, you're going. But overall, pretty happy with how much I was able to stow inside of here. But it did feel, compared to other around 8-liter packing cubes that I've tested, I wasn't able to fit as much. I think maybe that's because it is broken up into these different organizational areas. It's not the end of the world for me because I'm typically not shoving extra clothes into a packing cube anyways, but if you're someone who likes to get as much out of things as you possibly can space-wise, or you like to bring a lot of clothing, this might not be for you. But the durable materials I think are very unique. The look is very unique, and I haven't found a use, as I said, for these extra attachment points, but I think they're unique and they really do. There is something that people will use them for, and I think it's nice to just see different things happening in the packing cube game. So there you have it, the EVERGOODS Transit Packing Cube 8-liter. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.